Chapter 23. One day you'll miss Batman checking on you in the bathroom. Nobody shows up to rehab thinking, you know what? One day I am going to miss this joint. Walking in for the first time feels like wandering into the wrong funeral. Everyone looks at you. You look at them. Nobody knows what is happening. You walk inside like a stray dog that got tricked with a piece of cheese. Someone hands you papers. Someone else hands you rules. Nobody tells you where to stand. Nobody tells you where to put your suitcase. You stand there like a confused Sims character waiting for your player to click something. Someone asks if you have had thoughts of harming yourself or others or the microwave. You think, this is hell. The building looks like a middle school that failed its inspection. Someone hands you a pen that barely works. Someone else tells you to take your socks off and show the bottom of your feet, while another person asks you to squat and cough. Nothing about this feels legal. You stand there holding your belt and shoelaces, questioning every decision that led you here. They take your phone. They take your freedom. They take your confidence that you will ever shower in peace again. Then intake begins. A nurse asks about your childhood, your relationships, your drug of choice, and what your stool has looked like for the past 2 weeks without blinking. You think, I do not even tell my doctor this. Who are you? Your first walk around the unit feels like an identity crisis. Do I look like I belong? Does everyone know I have no idea what I am doing? Why is a dude named Spider staring at me? Why did they take my goose down pillow? Why does everyone look like they should not legally be around scissors? At first you resist. You are a raccoon in a cage, angry, hissing, ready to bite. You are convinced that the second those doors open, you will sprint out like Forrest Gump with an ankle monitor. Straight to your own bed. A 20-piece McNugget. Maybe Starbucks if you are trying to be classy. You swear you will never miss this place, not even a little. But rehab is sneaky. Rehab is the weird uncle who shows up uninvited and somehow becomes your favorite relative. You hate it. You tolerate it. Then, 22 days in, you are laughing so loudly the night staff threatens to separate the group. When it is time for discharge, people hug you. Someone slips you their number even though they are not supposed to. Someone signs your big book like a high school yearbook. Somebody cries. Somebody gives you a note. Somebody steals your shampoo. All normal stuff. The mean counselor pats you on the back and says, "You did good." And your chest cracks open because you have not heard praise like that since your driver's test. You walk out. The sunlight hits you. The world is loud. Your brain is louder. Everything feels bright and too open. You realize you are walking away from the only place where you did not have to pretend. The place where your broken parts did not scare anyone. The place where people celebrated you for brushing your hair. You go home. You open your fridge and stare at it like it is a portal to loneliness. It is just you and your thoughts now. Lonely. Empty. Quiet. Too quiet. No knock asking if you are coming to group. No laughter in the hallway. No chaos to distract you. Nobody asking how you slept. Nobody congratulating you for resisting a craving. No weird roommate asking if you want to split a pudding cup. Sometimes the silence feels louder than addiction ever did. It does not whisper, it echoes. And then the truth hits you. The truth nobody warns you about. You miss it. You miss the structure. Breakfast, group, lunch, group, dinner, group. A day so stitched together, it felt like your life had finally hired a seamstress. You miss how, if you sat in the bathroom longer than the Lord's Prayer, a tech appeared like Batman. "Hey bud, you alive? You journaling? You pooping? You crying while pooping? Give us a thumbs up." In the real world, you can be missing for weeks and your family thinks you took a nap. You could be face down in your driveway and your neighbors would assume you were doing yoga. Inside those walls, you were never invisible. You do not miss the 6 a.m. vitals. You do not miss staff creeping into rooms at 3 a.m. with flashlights like they were filming Ghost Hunters, Rehab Edition. You do not miss sharing a bathroom with a man who smelled like microwaved onions inside a sock. But you miss the small, stupid, sacred moments that held you together. The roommate chaos. Someone stealing your pillow. Someone hoarding apples like they are preparing for famine or secretly baking pies. One guy snoring so loudly the walls vibrate. Someone walking into group wrapped in a blanket like a cult leader. A dude with 2 days sober announcing he is writing a book. A man trying to flush a pair of socks. And the smoke breaks. 30 people in mismatched pajama pants sharing one grill lighter that somehow holds more emotional authority than the presidency. Smoke break is church. Smoke break is therapy. Smoke break is the courts, the streets, the barber shop, the confessional. Someone new in detox is shaking so hard their cigarette spells out Morse code for help. People laughing, people crying, people trauma dumping, people flirting even though nobody has showered. You start learning people's stories, hearing things that rearrange your insides, caring without realizing it. Someone shares a story so wild it resets the group's serotonin. Someone else says she does not even like cigarettes, she just likes standing in a circle. You cannot recreate that in the real world. If you stand outside a gas station crying and smoking, people call the police. Then comes the honesty. Rehab honesty is not polite honesty. It is raw truth spoken by people who have run out of lies. A man in detox admitting he still wants to use even though he lost custody of his kids. A girl whispering that she does not think she is worth saving. A counselor looking straight through you saying, "You can keep lying, but it is not going to keep you alive." People say they hate themselves. People say they do not know how to survive without chaos. Someone admits she does not know how to stay alive when she is alone. Your heart feels too big for your rib cage. People cry because they miss their dog, because they miss tater tots, because their ex tried to run them over in a Walmart parking lot and they still miss him. Nobody pretends. Nobody angles for the best lighting. Even the eye rolls are honest. Rehab honesty stings, but it saves. And what you never expect to miss is the connection. Addiction shrinks your life until it is just you and the substance, your own toxic two-person cult. A fake smile for your mom, a "you up" text to your dealer. Silence everywhere else. Then rehab throws you into a room with 40 broken strangers, and suddenly you are having real conversations. Someone admits, "I do not want to live today." And nobody panics because everyone has stood in that same dark hallway. For the first time in forever, you feel seen. The relief is unreal. Someone shares a story and you think, "Thank God, I am not the only idiot who did that." Connection shows up everywhere. In the TV wars when someone dares change the channel from Judge Judy. In the Medline where everyone waits like it is the DMV. In the card games that almost become fistfights. In the sarcastic applause for the one guy who actually arrives to group on time. You miss the people who sat beside you in the dark without trying to fix you. You miss the proof that you mattered. You miss the place where you did not have to be perfect to deserve love. You miss being seen in all your mess. You miss the strange rehab version of affection made entirely of sarcasm and shared trauma. Rehab was chaos. Rehab was uncomfortable. Rehab was embarrassing on a cellular level. Instant oatmeal, borrowed blankets, mandatory icebreakers that felt like punishment. Rehab made you furious. Rehab made you vulnerable. Rehab stole your dignity and then returned it one piece at a time. But it was the first place you stopped pretending. The first place you let your guard down. The first place you were seen without having to earn it. The first place where your pain was not a burden. The first place where you felt less alone in your worst moments. You did not just survive, you witnessed other people survive. And when you have been invisible for years, being witnessed feels like resurrection. It was the place where your existence mattered, your breath mattered, your tiny victories mattered, your honesty was not too heavy, your humanity was not too much. People knew your trauma before they knew your last name. They knew your bedtime anxiety before they knew where you worked. They knew your relapse triggers before they knew if you had siblings. It was the only place where your tears were not embarrassing. where your story was never too much. You missed the only place in your life where you could fall apart and be met with, "All right, man, get up slow. We are not letting you go out like that." It is love. But feral love. Wild animal love. I found you in a ditch and adopted you love. People do not know how to love normally, so they love in rehab dialect. You look like complete and utter shit. Come sit with me. That is when you realize the connection was not extra. It was the point. Everything else was background noise. What kept you alive was people dragging you through the mess even when they had nothing left. And the proof stays burned in your memory. Rehab is the only place on earth where someone can storm out yelling, "I am done, I am leaving, I am going AMA, and nobody can stop me." Kick open a door, march out like they are escaping federal custody, and then reappear 47 minutes later standing in line for meds asking if anyone knows what is for dinner. Everyone pretends to be annoyed and roll their eyes, but the truth is simple. They are relieved. Because it means one more person stayed alive.